Lizzie? SR-91 asked. He motioned noisily behind her, kicking rocks as he stomped along. "No, I'm fine," Lizzie told the robot, and returned her gaze to the lake at the end of the pathway. It was the most beautiful sight she'd ever encountered. During the day, the water sat motionless, the sunlight reflecting off the lake, but at night, it was as if she'd been transported to another dimension. Even from here, she could see the dancing forms beneath the surface, each a slightly different color. The rest of the walk took 10 minutes, each step directing her closer to the water's edge. The creatures were long, skinny, and bright. They danced around in a seemingly random pattern, but she knew better. She'd been watching the Skrell each night, studying their movements, confident they were on a loop, repeating the same positions over the course of 3 standard hours. During the day, there was no sign of the underwater animals, and now she was going to learn where they went. Lizzie stopped at the gravel beach, her boots sinking into the pebbles. SR-91 stayed behind, recognizing that he'd sink even further down under his weight. She moved for the liquid, crouching before it. She pressed a finger into the tepid water and smiled as a glowing pink creature approached. She began removing her jacket, then boots, the rocks cold to the touch. "What are you doing?" SR-91 asked. "I'm going to find out where they go each morning," Lizzie said calmly and quietly. When she was in her undergarments, she opened her pack, pulling out the tracking device gun. All she needed to do was press it against one of the Skrell and wait. She'd learn where their nest was, and then she could study them further. A researcher was never happy only seeing one aspect of their subject. She'd been working on finding their pattern all week and was confident she could do this without too much risk. She placed the goggles over her eyes, tweaking the settings to brighten her surroundings. The Skrell didn't appear dangerous, but she'd never attempted to touch one of them before. Lizzie slowly walked into the lake, watching as the blue one, then the red, followed by the pink again, moved in sizable looping paths underwater, never quite breaching the surface. She liked the pink the best. It matched her eye color. It was cold, and she cringed as the water hit the bare skin of her abdomen. She stood there waiting, letting her body acclimate to the temperature before moving any further. This was it. Time to catch one of the Skrell. She dove under, using the goggles to find her way, and she stopped, staying as calm as she could as the pink Skrell swam closer. It had 2 eyes, one on either side of its elongated head, and she held her breath as it grew nearer and nearer. It didn't appear to notice her, and she reached out with the gun after half its length was past her. She didn't want to startle it, and she succeeded. The tracking device shot into its tail, not even a drop of blood trailed after it. Lizzie swam away, not wanting the next incoming Skrell to spot her and become suspicious. Slowly and quietly, she emerged from the water, dripping on the pebbled beach, SR-91 full of innocuous queries that she ignored. She'd done it. Now she could learn where the Skrell went during the day. Lizzie was grateful she'd been trapped on Metron 7. She was finding so many interesting things to study. If help didn't come soon, she'd need to discover a food source, but she was confident she'd be able to ignore SR-91's constant warnings about the plant life and find something sustainable to eat. Dressed once again, Lizzie headed towards camp, exhausted after another long day. When she returned to her refuge, she quickly found her cot, checking the tablet before closing her eyes. The pink subject was still swimming in the long, swooping pattern. She set it beside her, saw that SR-91 was powered down in his charging corner, and she fell asleep with a smile. The pack was heavy, and Lizzie passed it to SR-91, letting the robot carry her burden as they trudged along the lake's edge. They were 10 kilometers from the main beach, and Lizzie was surprised that the Skrell came this far each night to do their photoluminescent dance. She held the tablet, seeing the destination ahead. The landscape was full of mountains and cliff sides around the lake, and the looming flat crag was intimidating. She glanced